Okay, that's it.
Oh.
We're live.
I thought you were going to act like we're done. Like you hitting record now, you thought was...
Not that I haven't ever done that before.
Well, great show, guys. Great show, great show.
All right, give me your honest opinion, Em.
Of?
What do you think about pulling the RPG D&D update out of the Date Night Thrice show and making a Date Night Dice adjacent show?
Hold on. Did you just say Date Night Dice
Date
adjacent?
Night. Date Night Dice adjacent.
Adjacent JJ.
We're going to call it...
Do you want to give it away right now?
What are we going to call it? I don't remember.
I know what you're going to call it, but I feel like you shouldn't say it yet.
Session 0.
Why can't you talk?
I don't know. It's not a good sign when we got to do a podcast.
As long as I don't have to edit, sure, sounds great.
About that...
I'm not editing.
Well, somebody needs to do it.
Welcome, everyone. Ken is, getting his shit together. No, he'll be here in just a second. Bored to play. Call it. That's awesome.
I like that attitude.
Nice.
I need to get away from these two constantly holding me back from wanting to talk about RPGs. So we're throwing them to the wayside. We're going to make a new show.
Go for it.
Session 0.
There you go.
2 dungeon masters trying to learn how to run RPGs. And we're going to pull in special guests.
Do it. I dare.
We're going to have discussion topics. We have a list of discussion topics.
People can send in stuff they want to hear about, too.
We're going to do it live.
Oh, you are?
So people can ask us.
What is wrong with you?
Ask us questions.
Well, if you do it live, you don't have to edit it.
Well, but the audio version,
we
just got to rip the audio version out, put an intro on the front. What I need to find is...
I don't think you know how editing works. The way you're talking.
How do I find royalty-free Renaissance Fair music for the
easy.
intro?
Type that into Google and it'll pop up.
Royalty-free Renaissance
Creative Commons or
music.
whatever. You know what? I actually have a music subscription that I pay a ton of money to. You can just check on that.
Oh, that would be so much better.
Yeah. I pay a lot, so
Let's
that
do
would
that.
work. Can anyone else hear this, though?
No, hold on. Okay, what if the intro to the podcast...
Though bad might be better.
Bad is... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All royalty-free music is Ren Fair music. That's why I thought this would be so easy.
Right? They all have a flute.
This is perfect. I can definitely...
That's true.
Here we go. Let's check out this YouTube video. Hello, traveler. You found a safe corner?
This is spooky.
This is terrible. This can't be it. This is not an intro.
I kind of like it.
What about Ancient Castle? Yeah, this is what I was thinking. Except I want it more like dumb flute.
Can everyone else hear this, though?
I hope
this
so.
would be perfect.
Yes.
You are now entering Session 0.
Everybody gather round and let's have Session 0.
You gotta save this YouTube.
Well, you can't
Can you just
download
bring
from
up
YouTube.
the YouTube every time?
Every time in the stream, I'm gonna bring up this YouTube video.
Do it. Cool. When you gonna start?
Well, the plan is to start next Wednesday, but Ryan James, my co-host, his computer is MIA, so it all depends on if he's going to get his computer back in time.
Doesn't sound
I
like
highly
the
doubt
plan.
he's not going to. But he
He's
recorded. Hey, he recorded a podcast with us on a
That is true.
different computer. So
Oh, perfect, Joe.
Yes.
Candles, ambient lighting. Yeah, you guys should dress up each time, too, and stuff.
I don't have any Renaissance stuff to dress up in.
I'm sure you could find
It's my
something.
biggest failing in life is the fact that I've said this before. I can't go to I have nothing to wear at the Renaissance
Well, we
fair.
can start with
That's embarrassing.
candles and slowly build your outfit.
The only thing I have to wear is a black Jedi cloak, and that's really not appropriate at all unless I'm like a necromancer.
Yeah, you could be. Why not?
I'm not the necromancer type. You know, I could be like a
don't know.
paladin. I could be like a. I could be like a fighter.
I thought I heard a dog.
You know.
Fighter, you?
Yeah.
No.
But I don't think I could be a necromancer.
Okay, well, I don't know.
What would you be, Em, if you played RPGs? First of all, if you played a role-playing game, would you want to play medieval fantasy? Would you want to play science fiction?
No.
Would you want to play like Shadowrun, which is sci-fi mixed with fantasy? There's like dragons and elves and dwarves,
No.
but it's in sci-fi, and then there's magic.
No.
And you have like a deck, which is like an iPad, and you have to hack stuff with it.
God, no.
Okay. So you're thinking fantasy.
Sure.
All right.
I don't think I'm made
Are you
for
playing a
this.
guy or a girl? Or somewhere in
I
between?
don't care. I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Are we like piecing together my
I'm going to build your
person
character right now
until
live
Ken's
while we
here?
wait for Ken. Let me get the player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my
We'll use that
gosh.
as the. Are you going to be a barbarian,
That's it.
a monk,
Or
a fighter? Ask if you don't know what any of these things are. A bard, a druid, a wizard, a sorcerer,
you stop me when you know.
a
Like,
warlock.
I don't know.
What the hell?
No, I'm not. I'm not playing D&D.
Emily would be a warlock, obviously.
Why don't you tell me what you think I would be?
What do I think you would be?
I would be a pyro.
Oh, what would you be?
Druid seems about right. Hey, Janelle.
Yeah, you could be a druid. You know what you would probably be? Actually, so Calvin and I. Sorry for anybody who doesn't want to listen to D&D. We're waiting for Ken.
We're just doing this till we
Oh,
can.
a war horse. Were you really? Do you actually play, Janelle?
If she just like made that up on the spot, that would be very impressive if she didn't actually play.
And she was a war horse?
And she's like, oh yeah, I was a war
Oh,
horse.
that's so cool.
Yeah, she says she was.
Yeah.
Or she was.
I don't even know what that
Last
means.
campaign.
What does it even mean to be a war horse?
That's
Oh,
why you're not a
badass.
war horse. Hey, there's Ken.
Oh, Ken's here.
All
What
right,
up?
all right, all right.
I'm here. All right.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Last campaign, I was a war horse. Hey, Joe. Hey.
Yeah, what does that
yes.
even mean?
He's catching up on the.
Yeah, see.
I still think back to being at Ken's apartment or condo and him running the Redbox 4th edition D&D.
Oh,
night.
jeez. Don't remind me. That was.
I liked that.
Don't.
I
No.
had fun, but it
Don't
was
I had
like
bring it up.
it was as fast and as loose as you can play D&D.
But I didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
but
know
that's
any.
fine if
Only
you're all
you
having
knew.
fun.
Only you as the GM
And
knew.
to say that I knew is a generous comment.
Janelle was
Yeah.
awesome at kicking doors down.
Nice.
That's pretty
That's
good.
insane. I love
Look at
that. I'll be honest. I would love to go back and play 4th edition again.
I would too.
Because everybody talked about how bad 4th edition was, so I never got to play it. I only ever played that one time at Ken's house when we played the starter box, which was like the red 4th edition box. And you know what? Everything I've heard lately is that 4th edition was pretty dang good. If you like
Actually, yeah.
if
Yeah.
you like board games, if you
Right.
like war games, if you like video games, then 4th edition was perfect for you.
What little we played, it felt like a more free form Gloomhaven, or like, it was, I don't know, it was very simple, which I guess is a problem. But I
Well,
liked it.
you know what they had like once per encounter abilities, and now they have spells you cast that last 1 minute. It's the same thing because a minute is 10 rounds of combat, but they use common language so that it feels more organic. And that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, that actually works. It makes it all
that's
feel
good.
more real.
Yeah.
Where 4th edition was like, actually, this is just a game, and we're going to make it look like a game. And
Yeah.
everybody was like, I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like that you're doing
Well,
that.
they need
Undo
to-
that, please.
If you're going to do that, call it Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know, Frost Birth. Like, make it a thing. Make it its own contained thing. Yeah. Anyway, what's up? This movie was What? Like, I want to hear what you guys have to say because I have
It's
no
very vanilla.
feedback. I have nothing to say
That's the
about this
problem.
movie.
I felt like I was having a fine time, and kept expecting I kept expecting for something to happen. Well, here, let's start the
Why don't
show, and then
you-
we're gonna talk the second about the movie. So we're gonna start the audio version right here.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yep.
Hello and welcome to another Date Night D List. This month we watched Dark Tower, movie loosely based on the Stephen King fantasy novel series about a dark tower that holds the universe together or something. I've never read the books. I don't know. They made a movie. It's for being based on a 5,000 page 8-book fantasy series. It's a 90-minute movie.
It's very short.
Yeah, it is.
So set your
exceptionally
expectations.
short. It's
Yeah.
it's way shorter than you'd ever expect it to be. Actually,
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be like 2.5 hours, and I checked, hour 30.
it's 90 minutes with credits. I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's
insane.
crazy fast.
That's like
yeah.
Disney kids movie short.
Yeah.
I love when
yeah,
they
it's
turn
like
on
a straight to DVD length, right?
Right.
Look, I mean,
Yeah.
we suffer through these movies for you people over here. And
Yeah.
when I turn on a
Heroes.
D-list movie and it's 90 minutes, that makes my day.
Yeah, I was actually
I
kind of happy.
love
That's
about
true.
it.
That's true. There were multiple times where I did write down a few times of like significant beats. The problem isn't that it's 90 minutes. The problems are that like nothing happens for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you get something. Anyway.
Let me
Son's
give
middle
you-
school play was longer than 90 minutes.
Oh my- that would be
Ah.
torture. I'm sorry.
Well, we were
Is
at
that child
a
abuse?
middle school band concert the other
true.
night. It was longer
That
than
was
this
an
movie.
Really? Wow.
So-
Oh my gosh.
It was a couple of bands, but
It was
still.
a
Remind
couple
me.
of bands.
Remind me not to
Um,
do any middle school anything.
Right.
Get this, a boy haunted by visions of a dark
Mm.
tower from a parallel reality teams up with the tower's disillusioned guardian to stop an evil warlock I love that. Known as the Man in Black, who plans to use, even though in the movie they refer to him as a sorcerer, anyway, as the Man in Black who plans to use the boy to destroy the tower and open the gates of hell.
That was
Damn,
the
badass.
longest sentence I've ever seen. But yeah, that pretty much is it.
That's fairly accurate.
But okay, so I'm pretty sure the movie, I have like a hair, is supposed to be after the books, right? It's supposed to be like what happens after.
Yeah. What little I know, I read part of the first book called, I think it's just called Gunslinger. And it's
Okay.
about Idris Elba's character.
Yeah.
Didn't care for the book, but I'm pretty sure it's way, way, way before any of this because spoilers, as we'll get to it, they defeat evil Matthew McConaughey very
Yeah.
quickly. So
Like,
I don't
not
know
that
what,
hard.
but this also feels like it was setting up more movies.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like they were gonna try to do a sequel at the end.
So I think they were like, okay, we're gonna buy this property. We're not gonna try and adapt the books, which I think is probably a smart move
probably
in a
a
lot
good
of
thing.
ways, particularly because Stephen King has weird to be nice, to be light on the guy. Dude fumbles through books sometimes, but I think they bought the property just so they could spin it off into the Idris Elba show.
That would
Right.
that would make
Which
sense.
would work. Which would work. I'd watch an Idris Elba gun-toting,
Yeah,
It
sure.
would
teleporting.
work.
I don't hate
Well,
that. I'm
And
into that.
major spoilers for the books because I went and
okay.
did some research. Is anybody listening to this going to go suddenly read the whole book series?
Well, I mean,
Unlikely.
well, they're not anymore.
But the thing at the end of the books, I think the gunslinger, he gets to in the tower and goes to the door and then like essentially is told like you didn't do it right this time, go back to the beginning, and then the book ends with how Gunslinger starts.
Okay.
gunslinger in
Are
the
you
field
Yeah.
with the
kidding me?
black
He's like
man
stuck
on the
in
run.
a loop.
That makes
so
sense.
this is
That makes
another
sense.
one of the loops. This movie.
I get that.
Oh.
So
There's
that's why
a
stuff can happen different.
there's a
Oh,
line
well, that
in
kinda
this
makes
movie
sense.
where Matthew McConaughey says something about another time around the table or another.
He
He
does
says
say something like that.
and I don't
Mhm.
hate that concept. I'm
Yeah,
fine
they're
with
like
that
in a
as
never-ending battle of like who's gonna win this
Okay.
time and can I get out
Maybe
of
I
it kind
should
of
read the
thing.
books then, because Hawkins, Stephen King's endings are awful, awful. Misses
Well,
the mark 90% of the time. Anyway,
I don't mind, like, some of the visuals of this movie are cool. The way they
Kinda
show the
cool.
tower, like, this is kind of a cool way to think of a like giant tower that is
Well,
sort of
and
magical at the center of the universe. It's sort of like unimaginably big, right?
yeah,
that's cool,
yeah, there's
but
cool
you
stuff in it.
jump right into it. So if you've never read the books and this movie starts, it's like as if you were halfway through a book series and someone's like,
That's true.
the
Yeah.
gunslinger, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, that's my problem. Is you get a little bit up front, and then I don't think you get anything
Yeah.
really between. You don't get any information about how these characters know each other until about 50 minutes.
And even then, it's like pretty light what they
Right. It's
explain
not.
or tell you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of exposition. They've been, the gunslinger's the last one of the gunslingers, whatever that means. I don't know who
Yeah,
they
like,
What does that
are,
mean?
or
And
I
also,
don't know.
like,
They never explain
How
it.
many were there? Were there 10? Were there
was it
2,000?
thousands?
I mean, was it a whole
Like,
planet?
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
But just like we were about to say though before we started the recording, I was not having a terrible time, but I spent almost the entire movie waiting for either something for it to turn bad or to turn
Right.
good,
Right.
and
It
Do
could have
something.
gone either way.
it could have. It had
Yeah.
every opportunity to go either way, and then it never did
It just
anything. And
kind
to get to
of
the end, ended.
It
Yeah.
just kind of
just
coasts
never-
into
Kind of
the
coasted.
end.
You know, I did
It
my
just
classic.
kinda,
Right,
It
I did
doesn't
my
even-
classic fall asleep during the final action
Yeah.
sequence, but that's what
Yeah.
I always do.
it doesn't even
Yeah.
It's kind of your
it
thing.
doesn't even fizzle out. It ends how you would think it would end.
Yeah.
Exactly... it's like the smoothest frosting you've ever seen. It's just ice skating on frosting,
And
like,
you
it
never get
just-
to taste it. You never.
Yeah. It just
That
It
is
looks
true.
fine, I guess.
like that was
but
cool.
what
It's
does it
behind
taste
us
like?
now. Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
That's it.
I couldn't tell you.
All
I
right.
don't remember.
Okay, should we get
Crack
started?
it open. Yeah.
I don't know.
Every
Yeah,
time.
can't-
Nah.
Never mind. Never mind.
Nah. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Jack Frost was fun.
Let's go to the chat.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey,
Well,
chat,
Let's bring
check
Jack.
out- I've been building Gundams. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
That's
Hell yeah.
awesome. Starting small. When are you going to get to like $400?
I'm gonna stay in 144. These are the cheap ones. But
Holy moly.
You gonna bust out your pen liner to do the?
I've got it somewhere. Yeah. No, I as I build them, and you put in these little pieces so that it can get like a red ridge somewhere. It's like,
Mhm.
let me paint that, or it wants you to put a sticker on. I'm like, a sticker's gonna look like shit. I'll paint
Yeah.
this later.
What I find crazy about those Gundam model kits is it's for 100% for the builder. You build so much
yeah.
stuff that you
Yep.
can't see when it's
Yep.
done.
Yeah, on the inside
this-
and whatnot.
This one is called entry grade, which is the lowest they go. It's $10 at Target. I found this at Target, and it's no glue, no snips. You twist all the pieces out of the sprues, snap them together. Kids could build that one. That's a really
Nice.
cool,
Well, isn't even at the higher end, the more complicated
like the
ones, aren't a
master
lot of
grade
those
stuff.
But aren't those still no glue? Aren't they?
There's still
don't
no
they-
glue.
And they
Yeah.
have like moving parts and stuff, don't they? They're like
yeah.
really.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
the mas-
marvel of engineering.
I lost my one. I think it was master grade, but that's the one you build essentially a gray skeleton that has like 60 points of articulation, and then you put the armor on, and then you paint
That's
that.
insane.
And you can see
Anyway.
none of the stuff that you
Yeah.
built
Right, you don't
underneath.
see anything you built or worked on. Yeah, it's just big white pieces of plastic on the outside. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
okay,
sorry.
Ben, you ready?
Stephen King,
By-
Idris Elba,
By the way,
and some
Ben
kid.
has his Matthew McConaughey shirt on.
Sorry.
We tried.
Oh,
to
I
get
was wondering. I didn't want to.
what was going on.
I didn't want to be presumptuous. If he's going for a bold new look, I'm
You're
into it.
missing a button or two.
Yeah.
I think actually this is too many. I think Matthew.
No, I think it'd be right
Matthew
there.
McConaughey is kind of
He's
like this.
pretty. He's pretty
I don't know,
open
it's
in
almost-
this. In this movie, he's almost wide open on the button down.
Like it's like down to the belly button in every movie.
Why? Like,
If you look good, you
He's
gotta
chill.
show it off.
Yeah, and he's
don't-
I
chill.
love Matthew McConaughey. Can we find another like? I want another Sahara. I want
do too,
another
and I've
Clive
looked
Cussler
and I've
Matthew
How
searched.
is
McConaughey
he
special.
not? How is he not in one of the Magic Mike movies? Is
Wait,
he
is
not?
is.
Like,
No, he is.
Yeah, he's like the
oh,
boss of
he's
the.
boss guy in the
Dallas
first
in the
one.
first
Yeah, he's-
one. You're
yeah.
right.
Bored to
It's
play.
so funny you said that because
He's always sweaty. That's
Oh,
so
he's
true.
always. That's his thing. Yeah,
That is his thing.
it's from the
Oh my
section.
God.
you know what we should watch. We should pull a ringer for the D list, and we should watch Reign of Fire and be like, actually, this was fantastic. Christian Bale and Matthew
I'll watch
McConaughey
that.
and Dragons.
I'll watch that.
Can we please watch Reign of Fire?
On paper, that
Sure.
movie is like a
Gosh.
$1 billion movie. In
Yeah, and then
reality,
we'll try to talk about why it didn't make $1 billion, and then we'll just talk about how awesome it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the beginning of this movie,
All
we have a
right.
quote. We open it with a quote. A tower stands at the center of the universe, protecting us from darkness, which is kind of like, okay, I guess.
sure.
Um,
It's a tower, though. How does it? Anyway,
Like, where's it standing?
It's
Why
an
is it going
inanimate
above clouds?
object.
It doesn't. I don't
It's
know.
in the center of the universe. It's not anywhere, but it's everywhere.
Okay. It said the mind of a child can bring it down, which is like, once again, I'm assuming if you read the books, that makes more sense.
maybe that. Yeah.
I don't know. So we open on a playground. It's like a perfect little community, very cultish feeling
It's
right
very
away.
Giver. You know the book,
Yeah.
The Giver.
Yeah,
It's
right. Where
hard
like
Giver.
nobody knows what's right or wrong or what's going on. Like
Yeah.
it's just weird.
They're like tossing an apple back and forth as if it was
Yeah.
the first time they'd ever seen an apple.
Right.
And they're not sure what it is.
Yeah, like nobody's having fun or mad. They're just kind of there.
Yeah.
And then like a big siren goes off. Everybody looks at their like creepy little watches. And then a few kids start walking towards this like giant building in the middle. And then inside there's these monsters, which I don't. Do you know what they're called? Aren't they like the
I don't know.
skin
They're
like rat-
walkers or rat?
They had a
something?
word for them. Yeah. I don't,
I don't
know what
remember.
It was.
But I wasn't sure if that was like a nickname for them. They were like some weird rat people. I didn't
Yeah.
understand why on every
Wait.
single like alternate planet there's like humans, but then there's also rat people.
Which
Are you
once
telling
again
me
in the
that-
book probably makes sense.
All the people with the fake skin are the rat people underneath?
Yeah.
I think so
Yeah.
because
Oh.
at one point
I just assumed that was an unanswered. Well,
I'm
there's
assuming-
the one rat guy.
I don't know.
Right?
There's
is
the one guy that doesn't wear like people skin. Everyone else has what looks like people skin, and you can see them kind of like fixing their masks and their
I liked
necks
that.
and
was
stuff.
creepy. I liked that.
That was
Yeah,
definitely
it
creepy.
was.
That was cool.
Well, because the man in black says to the one rat guy, "Go
Right.
put
He
your face
tells
on."
him to put
Yeah.
a face on in my
Yeah.
house. Which
was
is like,
like-
oof.
Ugh.
Well, I don't hate that though, because it was like that gives you a lot of information about the man in black, right? Like
Yeah.
Right.
this dude's gross and there's faces laying around, and in my
Yeah.
house, we don't look like rat people. You know, so like
Right.
a lot of
he
info in
comments
one
on their
line.
like faces a few
Yeah.
times where he's like, "Oh, you picked a pretty face," and you're like, "Ugh, okay." So they're doing like experiments on kids, but we're not quite sure. So they lock these kids into like a chair and like very Matrix style, right? Lock
Yep.
and load them into a chair. And then like a beam of light starts shooting out of them or in them or whatever. The kids are screaming. The light like bursts out the top of the tower, and then you can see it hit the tower. So the top of the building they're in, and then shoots into the tower.
Yeah.
If that
At
makes
this
sense.
point, it's very unclear what the spatial
Yeah.
relationship between the tower and the child cannon is. They
Looks
appear to
about
be
2
on
miles.
the same planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not far.
And I also thought it was a very bold to start your movie with the generic sky beam. And you know, like usually
Yeah.
that's a
Bold
third
choice.
act. Yeah.
Nope. But then it kind of shows a city, which I'm assuming is like New York City, and above it in the clouds, it kind of is like red. It looks all like plasma-y.
After the tower got hit by the beam.
So it's kind of like a
Okay.
thunder,
Yeah.
lightning-ish, like just a little for a second. Which once again, you're like, is that really there? Are they showing that's like people can't see that? I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then all of a
right.
sudden a kid wakes up because an earthquake is happening. So then you are also going, was that a dream? Is that real? Who
Yeah.
knows what's going on?
Who
Okay.
knows?
So then we meet our kid. This is Jake. Is that his name?
Jake Sully
Okay.
from Avatar. Yep.
He right away in the morning looks at a picture of him and his dad. So you're like, okay, dad's dead. We know that.
Got it.
Sees his mom. He's drawing at the kitchen table, like spooky photos. So there we are, the kids, creeper drawings.
Jake Chambers. That's his name.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
there he
I
is.
forgot. We seem to land a lot of movies with pretty good stepdads. This ain't one of
Ooh,
them.
no.
No.
Hard stepdad pass. Yeah.
Yeah. So right away, Ben, you can do picture number 1. That's Jake. So the mom's like, don't forget, you're seeing the doctor after school. And the stepdad right away is like, waste of money. Okay, the
Yeah,
kid's
it's some,
dad
like-
just died. And you're telling him seeing a therapist for his dead dad issues is a problem?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
that's-
like just like I hate this guy instantly
Yeah.
in terms of like, are you trying to get kicked out of this house? Home dog?
Right? But of course, the mom is a hot mess the
Right.
entire
It's
time.
classic. I'm dating
Which-
some
Yeah,
douchebag.
douchebag. and-
Yeah.
Well, everything's on the nose.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
mean stepdad.
It's part of it's part of the timetable, I think. In 90 minutes, you have to make everyone a
Right.
caricature of something,
you
right?
can't trick anybody. There's not enough
Yeah.
time. We're gonna just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In every single instance. And
The bad-
we'll get into that in a little
Bad
bit.
guys are
when-
bad, stepdads are bad,
Right.
moms are
And it's-
angel,
Everyone, as soon as there are bad guys on the screen, you know that they're bad. There's
Yes.
you're not being
Yeah.
tricked at all.
Yeah.
Never.
Which
No, we jump right in.
is not necessarily a bad thing.
Exactly. That's why I was like, okay. I was on
Right.
board for
So
I
there's
was on
no-
board for a very long time.
There's just
You
no
just kept-
backstory.
I
So
just
you
kept
don't like
waiting
connect with anyone.
I waited for it to turn into something, and it just never does.
No,
It
it's
just
like if someone
never-
was showing you like pictures and you're like, but what's
Yeah.
the secret? Where's
This
the
felt
puzzle?
like
And they're
the
like,
pitch.
no, this is it. I'm just
This is
giving
the
you all
pitch.
the
This
pieces.
is the pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but then what happens? And they're like, that's it. End of story. And
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah, but why is
Um,
the gunslinger so good with his guns? Because he's a
I don't-
gunslinger, you idiot.
Because his
Like-
guns are forged from the metal
Excalibur.
of
Like,
I think
as-
it's called
like-
Excalibur on Earth Prime or whatever.
Yeah, and
I'm
you were
glad
like,
you said
what?
because,
I
like,
don't-
okay, but like, you
What?
could have said anything,
Once again, I'm assuming there's like a
Forged
book on
from-
each character at this
right?
point.
Oh,
'Cause-
same with even the creepy village in the beginning where he's harvesting kids. It's like, okay, that's a whole book.
yeah.
That whole thing is a whole book or 2 or 3, right? Of juicing up the thing to the kid cannon to shoot the tower, and it's
Right?
10 minutes in. That's the whole.
Woo.
Anyway, sorry.
So Jake goes to school. He's drawing as usual. He's being bullied. He
Loser,
punches a
John.
kid, gets in trouble.
He jacked that kid pretty quick.
Oh,
he did
he
not
Yeah.
hesitate to hit that kid.
No.
We never waste any time. The bully comes
You're
up, slaps
right.
his book out of his hand. He's like,
Well,
"Screw you!" Whacks
Like
him
you
in
were
the
just
face.
saying,
Yeah.
kid shows it up in screen. You're like, okay, that's a bully, right?
Yeah,
Like
right away.
no hesitation. Bully marches towards
No
kid.
questioning.
Kid punches bully. Like no words are said. There's nothing.
Right.
Right.
10 seconds.
And
we,
the
we
only-
went through the whole "I'm a dork" thing.
Yeah. Nobody likes me at
He
school. I
is
don't have
obviously
any
not
friends.
liked at school, and then the only outcome of that is you got to go home and cool off, and there's no other
Yeah,
consequences.
Which I
Great.
thought that was
I'll
wild.
punch a kid
Let's
every
keep
single
going.
day. Yeah.
Right, like
You
we don't
need
have
to
to do the
leave.
parents in the principal's office
Nope.
scene. No, the next
Which,
time
I mean,
he's
let's be honest. Thank God we didn't have to go through
Oh.
all of that.
Yeah,
right?
that
Like
is
that
true.
would be.
They were like, we don't
If
have
we
time.
had-
exactly. So once again, I'm very much
I'm
on
here
board at
for
this
it.
point.
Let's skip the origin stuff. Race through it. Get me
Let's
Yeah.
go
to
right through.
Giddy
yeah.
up. Okay,
Um,
he's Spider-Man, but he's got a lot of shine. I don't know.
Stop.
Yeah.
So he goes see the therapist. Therapist is like, no, these are just dreams. It's probably because, your dad died and blah, blah, blah.
Therapist was not very helpful.
He in no way was
No.
even like, he didn't even want to hear about it. He was like, they're dreams. Get over it, essentially.
Yeah. Loser.
And then another earthquake kind of happens. The therapist gives him a weird look, which I'm like, what are you believing it now for a second? And
Yeah.
that's it. Therapy session is done. That's it. We
Over.
know therapist doesn't like him, doesn't care either. Jake's heading home. He sees a guy who he thinks is like adjusting his skin, just like the creepy
Yes.
monster people from his dream. And then like some homeless guy approaches him and he's like, watch out, kid, they're going to get in your mind and like they're going to get you. And so he just rushes the F home.
Good
which,
advice.
I mean, if a homeless guy starts
Tells you
screaming
they're
at
in
me,
your
I'm
mind.
probably
You
going to
go
get
home
out of
and
there.
You think about
So-
it. No, you go get your mind right. You clean up.
So he runs into his neighbor, which this kid has the thickest Brooklyn accent.
Oh
I've ever
yeah,
heard.
I thought he had like a speech deficiency or something. Like
It also sounds
he shows
like
up at the end. He shows up at the end and he's like, "Your parents are here," and I'm like, "What?"
It seemed. I wonder.
It
I
sounded
wonder
like
if that.
it was recorded separately, and
Maybe
he was
it
like
was, yeah.
mouthing it. But no, it was so weird. Like you
His
said,
a-
Ken, he's like,
it
they
is-
haven't been here since
It's
Sunday.
weird. Ah.
What?
It makes me wonder if that kid was like trying to
Fake
fake
an
an
accent?
accent, but he's a
why would
kid,
they
so
let
he
him?
can't do
Probably.
it.
Yeah, kid doesn't know
Uh-huh.
what any accent sounds like.
But this is a
right?
like a multi-million-dollar production. Like, what is going
What
on
did
here?
they
It was
How
spend
much?
on
very
this? Do
strange.
we have?
Yeah, what did this?
don't-
Did you have?
do
You
we
got the
have data?
numbers? Let me get to the bottom of this while you continue here.
And
60
it never
No, I
really
don't know.
looks
Making this
bad
up.
necessarily. When
No.
did this come out?
2017, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh
okay,
my gosh.
this
It-
film grossed $113 million worldwide on a
did.
$66 million budget.
Oh,
But
that's pretty
received
tight.
Generally
Okay.
negative reviews.
All the reviews are like, we hate it. So,
Really? I don't hate
Yeah.
this movie. It's just like nothing.
well, I think part of it is probably people who read the books.
Sure.
Like if you
Yeah.
read, all the Wheel
Yeah.
of Time, all the Harry Potters, and someone's like,
Yeah.
this happened after, and it was like Harry and his
it's
Brooklyn
Harry
neighbor.
Potter.
I mean,
yeah.
I
Harry
don't know.
just is wandering a wasteland, like shooting
You'd be
people.
like, what the fuck is this? But the kid and his weird neighbor go to his house, Jake and his neighbor, and the mom looks like she's drunk. She's a hot mess. She's fighting with the stepdad, and they're like, hey, there's a school upstate for like troubled kids. We're gonna send you there tomorrow, like right away. And you're like, what? Like
Newsflash. Yeah.
once again, super quick. So the next morning, no wait, hold on. Okay, so then we go back to Matthew McConaughey. So we kind of like flash back and forth.
Okay.
He is at a place where a bunch of people are all like dead all around on the ground. One guy's still alive, and he goes up to him and he like talks to him for a second. He's like, "You're never gonna win." So clearly there was some sort of battle, something.
I'm trying
And
to
he
remember
like
this guy.
burns the guy's face or his soul, or I don't know. He's like, nothing happens after you die. And he's
His
like,
his powers
on
are
his-
very unclear.
I don't know what he does.
Right? He has
I-
the power to do anything whenever he needs it to be relevant for this movie.
Yeah,
I kind of
Or-
liked that. Like that and his powers were,
He
it
would
was
just
not
tell
a hard
people to
it
do
was
stuff.
it was a soft magic system. It was very much like
Yeah.
I can just,
do what I want.
and it was always commanded words, which was
Right.
which
Yeah.
was cool. Actually, until he catches the bullet, then I'm like, whoa, I guess he can do other stuff too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is when we then see him. We see the gunslinger, so it's like a
Oh,
flashback.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
But before you move on, he does to the guy laying down. He like says like, "There's nothing after this. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Do you see the afterlife?" And he's like, "I bet you don't, because there's nothing there." And then he says, "Burn." And so this is the
And he
first time
just-
that we see that his power with words. He can
Yeah.
give commands with a word. He says burn, and the guy lights on fire. And then we'll see him later do all kinds of similar commands.
He does really like
Yeah.
to do that.
Which I like
Um,
that. That's a scary power.
I can't
right?
do this.
Just being able to talk.
I was like, what?
That's a
You just
cool-
leave the podcast? I can't
Yeah.
fucking do this
It
anymore.
is scary. It's like power
Well,
word
it just
kill,
makes me
you
wonder
know,
though,
like-
if he
Yeah.
has that, couldn't he just
Right.
Maybe-
the problem
It
with
doesn't
that
work on
power
rolling.
is like
Yeah, but
You
couldn't he
gotta
just take a
create-
bunch of people and be like, destroy the tower? Or I don't know. Or maybe it only works certain ways. I
They
don't know
can't.
the rules.
Right? But I don't. It seems like the tower's just down the street, but I'm not sure if it is or not. I don't know.
Plus,
So-
you've got portals, and
Down
then
the
we'll get to
street.
that. But
Yeah. What's up with the portals?
So we see two gunslingers. So one of them is our main guy, Roland, and then another guy with him, which we find out later is his dad. But at the time, we don't know.
Allstate guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's the guy who's like Allstate.
But there's also like weird, like those metal X things they use to keep tanks from driving on the beach. Like I don't know why those
Yeah,
are
they
there.
show that later, like one time.
There's
I
a
don't-
lot of there's a
once
lot
again,
of
was there a
implications that
battle.
the
Oh.
planet they're on is Earth from before, right?
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
also, it clearly isn't based
That's
on.
true because there's stuff that they're like, we don't know what that is, and Jake's like,
And
I
the
know
kid
exactly
says,
what that is.
"Oh, it's a theme park, you idiots!" And it's clearly a theme
Yeah.
park. They're in an old,
Yeah.
dilapidated theme park.
Yeah, and he's like, no, nobody knows
No.
what that is.
He's
I
like
know.
ancient times, and you're like, but
What?
I don't.
But I know what it is. No, nobody does. No.
I
So
don't
is
know.
it Earth or is it not? And anyway, you're not
I-
gonna get an
Once
answer.
again, you got to read like
No
book
answer.
4 to find that
Of course, the
Right.
like theme park name is Pennywise.
out. Was it?
Oh, it would
Yeah.
be.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Is it?
That makes
Mhm.
sense.
Oh, that's fine. Whatever. If you're gonna create a
That's
Stephen
fine.
Kingiverse, go all
The
in.
king of
I don't.
verse.
Yeah,
so
I don't
this is
care.
where we do find out that Matthew McConaughey's character, which we find out his name is Walter. Don't like that.
And the kid
Um,
jokes about it too.
But Walter can get inside their head. So this is when the two gunslingers are there like, don't let him get in your head. Don't let him get in your head and stuff like that. And they're like saying their mantra thing at first, which we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But then Matthew McConaughey comes up and he's like, stop breathing. And the one dad guy like drops dead practically. He immediately
Allstate
can't
guy?
breathe. Yep. And
But
and
I
the
love that.
other
I
yeah.
loved that. I thought that
But
was
also,
like,
like,
oh
if it
god,
was
that's
that easy,
awful.
if it was
Right,
that
that's
easy,
the
like,
problem. Like his power is so acute and
Yeah.
limitless that it's like, well, how do you? It's scary, but it's how do you write characters or rules or gimmicks that get around that? I don't know.
Right. And so he does say, he's like, oh, that never worked on you, Roland, and he kind of walks away knowing he can't do anything. And Roland shoots at him, and right before the bullet goes in the back of his head, he like catches it, like right behind his head, which once again, pretty cool. Like,
Sure.
you
Yep,
can just catch
okay.
bullets, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I-
This guy's
right?
unstoppable.
He's like exactly. I kind of liked this sort of introduction to his capabilities. He was really
I'm
scary
into
as a
it.
bad guy.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his power seems limitless, other than it can't work on Roland.
The hill that they present our heroes to get over is insurmountable in
Right.
the beginning.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
absolutely unstoppable. Yeah.
Until you
like
have this
that.
kid.
Yeah. So you got Jake Sully.
Well,
You
right.
got-
I mean, you think about the classic for us, right? The Darth Vader introduction as this super scary bad guy compared to this as a super scary bad guy, and this is scarier, right?
Yeah.
Like he's scarier because I don't know how you beat him. I don't know what you do. He's
Well, and
invincible.
sometimes he's
Well-
it's a credit to Mr. McConaughey. Sometimes it seems like he does it for fun. Sometimes he seems to do
Yeah.
it just to leave no trace behind. There's sort of a you never really know why he's doing it, which is good. It's like, okay, dude's got a plan. Sometimes he's goofing around. Sometimes he's on business. I don't know. I liked
Yeah,
it.
he's just kind of like
He
bopping
plays a
around the
good
universe.
villain to a certain degree.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the story is weird.
Yeah.
But the kid also sees like an abandoned house in his dream, so then that's when you're like, "Oh, this was all like in his dream. He saw all this." And then he
Mm-hmm.
wakes up. Stepdad's a huge jerk is what I wrote, so I'm not quite sure what that part
Yeah.
was. He's just a jerk.
Oh,
so
he's
in
just a
general.
jerk. He's
He's
just
just an
a
asshole.
jerk. Yeah, he's one note.
the people from the clinic are there, and they're like, "They're here to take you, Jake." He like just woke up at 6 a.m. to get ready for school, and they're like, "People are here." And you're like, "What the fuck?" Like right away.
Yeah.
So the intake administrator, she seems sus right away. She's like fixing hands shaky, fixing skin. She seems way too smiley. he looks and he can see like a seam in their like neck. And so right away, Jake's like, oh my God, it's like the monster people from my dream. He's freaking out. He tells his mom, who of course is like, stop being a little bitch and you're going to go do this. And he's yelling like, they're not human and all this stuff. And right before this, he was trying to figure out where the house from his dreams was. So he's like on a forum and stuff like that. So when he's like pretend packing
This was pretty
and
funny.
trying to figure this out, like on the screen pops up, hey, I know where that house is. It's on, Birch and 3rd Street or whatever. And so he...
Oh, man, I love, though, when he asked the question.
Yeah, do you want to say that part?
He asked the question, and, like, one of the first answers, he's like, where is this house? And somebody just says, up your butt.
Yes. Oh, thank God. I knew you would say that. I'm so glad. I knew I didn't need to remember it because Ben would get it.
I was like,
It's
Ben
like
will
first,
remember.
I needed my notebook's over there. I'm going to go grab it, but I know that my first note
Is
in my
up your
notebook is
butt?
up your
Up your
butt.
butt. One of the most realistic displays
Yeah.
of like internet use
It's essentially
I've
like a
ever
Reddit
seen in a
forum.
movie.
Yeah.
He's
All right.
on a forum. He types in anybody recognize this house. Comment up your butt.
It's like
Full
it comes
stop.
up instantly. Like
Yeah, and
somebody
he's
was
like,
like waiting.
right
Where
away.
is this? Up your butt.
So once the actual address pops up, he jumps out the bathroom window and he's booking it. The people right away are like, get after him, which if you actually worked for a clinic, you wouldn't be like, get on the roof and
Right,
chase the kid
right.
down. So obviously something's up. He ends up like running across the rooftop, going down the building, going down the subway, up the subway. He gets rid of them. He runs away from them. Okay, so then he finds the old building. Are you okay? What's happening to you?
Picked up what I thought was a Kleenex off of the table over there to
What
blow my
was it?
nose, and it was like it had been laced with poison. I don't
Like a
I don't know
dry
what it was.
Clorox wipe or something.
I don't know.
leave
I took a
bleached
breath in
Kleenexes.
near the Kleenex like this, and I was overcome with
inhale.
some sort of like
It's
I don't know.
right
I feel like
next
I'm gonna
to-
die. I
it's-
don't know what.
Spores.
It's next to where the kids are making slime. Who knows what's on
Yeah.
that?
I
Kleenex?
breathed in some sort of powder, some chemical. I don't.
Just a bunch of borax.
We have cocaine
I
everywhere.
don't know what it was.
Do you guys ever sneeze and like you think it's the end? Like your whole body hurts? Like I get shit. Like my arm will hurt. Like
Right.
it's like my bones hurt. Feels like there's something
There's
in
a moment during
From a
the sneeze
like I have to
where
I have to get up and like wind my arm
Yeah.
up.
No, I
like
don't
you
have that.
see
I'm sorry.
your body sneezing from above, and you're wondering if you're ever going to return to it again.
He's gonna go back into his body.
Cyborg gets it. Yeah, you sneeze and it feels like a heart attack because it goes like lightning bolts
you
down your
wonder
arm.
if it's a heart attack.
I'm 100% serious. It has to be a thing. It's a real thing. I'll figure it out.
probably is.
Oh, here we go. I actually had
Sneeze.
one other note.
And
What?
I thought it was
arm
really
pain.
the first
Up
time I
your
really
butt?
got sort of up your butts here,
Okay.
here, and it was up, and then your was you are up your butt.
Yeah, it's spelled internet style, right?
Internet
Yeah.
style.
Internet style, kids.
So
All right.
Jake finds the old building. When he goes in, there's graffiti that says "All hail the Crimson King." Once again, I thought
the
that was supposed to be
Crimson
the guy
King?
in black or the Matthew
that someone
McConaughey. I don't
else?
think it is though. I think it's someone else from the books.
You're telling
So I don't know.
Okay.
Once again, maybe they thought to put that in if they did a sequel, and then they could also.
Is that man?
Like-
they're teasing the next movie already. Like
I don't
15
know.
minutes in. All right. Whatever.
Or
It's a
maybe
little
it's-
Easter egg for
Maybe it's just for people who read the books, like a little.
Yeah, that's
ooh,
fine.
But
Yeah.
so when he's going in there, the house is kind of like the floorboards are kind of moving behind him. So you're like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Then it sounds like the internet booting up from like 1997. It's like AOL is starting up. And it's like, please enter destination. So he saw a number in his dream. So
why
he
did it
puts in
sound
that.
like that though?
It was like,
It's like
it was
future
very...
otherworld technology. It makes the exact same sound of you like connecting to the internet 15 years ago. That's
Called
weird.
budget reasons. That's
Yeah.
why.
They
Get
were
a
like,
AOL noise.
Right? So then he enters that number, a portal opens up, and he's like freaking out that, a portal opened up in front of him. But this is when the house like tries to eat him. Essentially, it's like the
Yes.
floorboards if they like tornadoed around him and they're like smushing him and he's like getting sucked up into
Just
the
like a
house.
really uncomfortable thing to think about. That would
That's
be
what I was gonna
very painful.
Like Splinter City on your face is all I
Yeah.
could think about. Like if someone
Yeah.
rubbed floorboards all over your
Ugh,
body,
like
which,
old
like old
dry
ones.
wood.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
called like a floor demon or something?
It's a house
he
demon.
says
They
it
talk
later.
about it
house
later.
Yeah.
demon.
But
Yeah.
the way that they refer to it as a house demon sounds like a the Harry Potter thing. It sounds
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a house demon. No, you
Right.
just
It's like Dobby.
right. It's a house elf. It's just sort of
It
like
was
the
very,
shush
like-
it into the closet type.
But also, like, never is there anything else alive like that in this whole
No.
movie. It's not
No.
like there's other magic other than so.
Yeah.
Anyway, he yells like, "Let me go!" and
Yikes.
something happens and it like drops him.
Yeah, it's very anticlimactic. He kind of
Which-
like yelps like a dog,
Yeah.
and then
And then he jumps through the portal, which,
Yeah.
yeah, is weird. So he shows up like literally on Mars, aka just rocks
Yes.
and nothing.
yes.
He's number 3, Ben.
and he's like
Um,
thrilled to be there.
I
He's
would be
never
like,
been
well,
insane.
fuck.
It looks exactly like Mars.
Yeah.
Like, well, here, let me
There's
show.
nothing for miles in every direction.
Even this picture it was way more red. It was more
Yeah,
Mars.
yeah, it's yeah. Why is the
Um,
color so weird on that picture? Huh.
So he starts walking, and it looks like he's walking forever, right? At one point, it looks like there's some sort of smoke sand monster, sandstorm coming by him and around him. Once again, that kind of just away.
There's like, but there's like
But with-
5 or 6 of them, and they're the way
Yeah.
the tornadoes look. They're clearly like a
moving.
thing.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like,
a monster.
creature, or
Yeah,
and then one just washes over him.
And when it washes
shits
away,
in
there's,
front of
like,
him?
yeah, like old tanks.
Like, did
I
he
don't know.
go through
Like a
time?
mech.
Was it a portal?
It was an armored core. I don't know. A Gundam.
It was a
I-
Gundam. There's
That's
just
like
a
what
crashed
it was.
robot
And you
suit.
never hear about that again.
Nothing like you
Nothing.
don't hear about the tornadoes, that where he went, where he
Nothing.
got to, where he came from. Like,
Yeah,
okay, sure. All
and
right.
they're never like, you got to be careful out there because of the sand.
Watch out for those
storms or
sand
what-
swirlers. They're
Yeah,
an
what?
interdimensional toilet that you get
I don't know.
sucked
We're gonna
through.
introduce
So
stuff
weird.
and we're gonna take it away. And
Yeah.
So then we
Maybe-
cut back
Maybe
to the
it's
rat
for the people who read the books.
It must be.
I don't know.
Right? It
I
has to
don't
be.
know.
But then
It's
it's so inconsequential, yet it also
So
cheats him to like this point that like you got to tell us what that was.
it was the whole movie for people who read the books because they don't explain anything.
No, maybe is this a movie
But it
composed
seemed like-
entirely of fan service?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
wouldn't know. We would need a Stephen King.
We'll never
Like,
know.
It might explain why we're so confused.
It could be.
But it's also like you can watch it. It's not like you need to know the answers. You can
No.
still watch it and get
Right.
an
And
A
that's
to
why
B
you just
and
kind of
like
keep
Yeah.
watching, waiting for it to go
Oh.
somewhere.
Though I have to admit, I didn't care for this part. The appearing in a desert alone, the sand tornadoes, and then he finds the guy up on a cliff.
Well,
He
hold
finds the gunslinger, steals his water.
They're still in the desert. I don't like. Maybe I just don't like deserts. Like I feel like it's too dangerous to be in a desert.
I
Like,
think just
Well-
being in the desert was also fan service because so much of it,
Yeah.
little I know, the gunslinger just walks like forever.
on.
I
Like
think
forever.
like that's his thing, and so he'll just be in the desert for years sometimes.
Ugh, God,
Yeah.
that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
ugh.
We cut back to the rat people, and they're in like they're on like computers and shit. It looks like the Matrix room.
They're in Terminator 3. They're on the
Yeah.
set of Terminator 3.
And they're like looking for children they can grab, and they're like, "Here's a ripe one," and it's like some girl in Central Park and like weird
It
crap
does
like that.
kind of look like the Matrix, also. Like the
You know,
Well,
like
it's
the crappy-
computers that
yeah.
are dusty. They're like futuristic computers that are also dusty.
Yeah.
It's that look, whatever that's
Um,
called.
And this is when Matthew McConaughey shows up, and he's like, "Put on a mask if you're going to be around me, or
Yeah.
put on a face,
Put
or
on a
Wear
whatever."
a face in my house.
And the guy like runs out. And they say they found an unauthorized crossing in an old portal. So he's like,
Right,
"Hold on,
right.
what's up?" So he knows the kid did something, but
I'm
he doesn't know it's the kid yet.
Man,
I'm
these
scared of the
portals-
Man in Black. Like
He's
the way
cool.
that he acted,
He's cool.
he wasn't mean. He wasn't nice. He was like,
He's unpredictable, which
Yeah.
is scary.
yeah,
But he's got
not,
a plan at the same time.
Right. He
So
seemed. He
Yeah.
kept me
he's
on my
driven,
toes.
yet you never know what he's going to
Extremely
do.
powerful.
Yeah.
Gosh, and I love that they called him a sorcerer. I love the idea of a sorcerer. Like that's
Well,
Which once again, it's like, are there more? Is he the
I-
only
yeah,
one? What's going on?
what I thought he was like the devil. Big air
Yeah, that's what
quotes,
I thought,
the
too.
devil. But I like the more you watch it, you're like,
Guess
I don't
not.
think he is. Yeah. He's just sort of
But-
he's just a crazy magic
It
guy.
also didn't really
Yeah.
say why he wants like monsters to enter the other universes and
well,
stuff.
that's the whole thing. Is like I assume that's the devil part, right? Like this guy's
Yeah,
he's worse than he says he is, maybe. But
I
when you
don't
watch
know.
it, you're like, I don't think so. I think he's
I don't know. He
I
had a
think
pretty
this
nice like
whole
office
thing's-
that he kept clean. I don't know why he like he had
did have a
books and
really nice
stuff.
part to the
Yeah,
Matrix
And
3 zone.
I love, but it wasn't closed off. I don't think it was closed off by
It's
a
just
door.
open.
no, it's
door.
like a
It was
lofted.
open.
It's like a lofted
It was
office.
it was yeah, it
It's
was
an
open
open
to the
concept
dusty
office.
factory. But the office was like a wood
A
panel,
dark wood,
dark like
lots of
there's
books,
probably like
high up.
whiskey in a decanter.
Yeah,
It's Matthew McConaughey's office.
He had a bunch of like magic
yeah, it's
balls.
his house. They shot
What
that
is-
at his house. Yeah.
What is the character that he plays in Sahara?
Dirk.
Shoot, the
Dirk?
Dirk
It is something like that.
Dirk something. He loves classic cars and sexy
Hold on.
women.
Dirk.
Dirk.
Let me find it. God, Matthew McConaughey has been in so many movies. Kirk.
Man, I can't wait till we watch Reign of Fire. It's gonna be so good.
Oh my gosh.
You know what we need to watch? I'm gonna make my wife watch it, and then we'll come do our own. Is that Megan, that scary movie
Oh yeah.
with the doll? I'm gonna make her watch
I've
it.
heard that's pretty good.
I've heard it's
actually.
really good, actually.
Yeah.
and it's PG-13, so it can't be that bad
Perfect.
in theory.
Yeah, it
handle-
can't be in like
can't handle R.
horrible.
Right.
No, I
Not
don't want stuff
hard
where
R
it's like,
horror.
ugh.
No. Magic
Okay,
Mike. He's
well-
Dallas in Magic Mike.
It's Dirk
Okay.
something. You want
What
that.
was the name of the movie even?
It's
I'm
like
forgetting.
Dirty Pit or
Sahara.
something like that.
Sahara. What year was it?
like
2000
97?
no
I don't
idea.
know.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay.
I could be totally wrong. I don't know what year it is.
He was in King of the Hill. He voiced somebody on King of the Hill.
Really?
Reign of Fire was 2002. Sahara, 2005. Dirk
Oh.
Pitt. Dirk Pitt. What a name. Jeez.
There's like 50 novels about Dirk Pitt.
I'm so mad that they didn't make more movies on that.
Dang.
Okay, it's getting dark in the desert, and you're like, that kid looks cold, right? It's clearly getting dark out. And then he sees, like, in the distance, like, it still looks like a mile or two away, like a little light, like a
Yes.
fire. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay. When he gets over there, it is bright and sunny. I don't understand. I don't think
I
it's
must
been
have
a
missed
day
that.
or two. It's,
Stop
Huh.
asking questions.
I
Emily.
don't get
Yeah.
it.
It's a nighttime when he sees the fire. Near
then
it
it
looks like
stays.
it's
I remember
nearing
him
night.
seeing the
sun
fire.
is setting.
Yeah.
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 Because he comes out of the tornado. Oh my gosh, are we still only at the tornadoes?
Well, yeah, you won't
Yeah, we
stop
gotta
talking
move.
about
Sorry.
other
I
movies,
gotta
man.
shut up. Yeah. We have been finding every other topic to talk about. Like, hey guys,
This
you want
movie's
to talk
so
about my dolls? Let's talk about my dolls.
right?
So he starts drinking the water. The gunslinger sneaks up on him, and he's like, he thinks that the man in black
He's
sent him.
gunslinging him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the kid tells him about his dreams. He's like, your dreams are wrong. And he walks away, which you're like, you're kind of an asshole. You just left this kid in the desert.
Yeah.
Jake follows him. They go back and forth, kind of talking a little bit. In the end, he looks at his drawings and stuff, and he's like, okay, there's a tribe close by. We're going to find someone who can read your visions.
A tribe.
Yeah, which the tribe is like a small pioneer town.
It's
I don't know.
people?
Like,
It's just people.
I don't know why.
It reminds
In
me
a-
of the town in. Okay, I'm gonna have to ask a couple of
we
questions
go
because I can
again.
never remember.
Phone. I'd like to phone a friend.
Who plays Spider-Man in the
Uh,
newest Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Tom
Thank you.
Holland.
Oh my gosh, I could
What is
not
the Tom Holland movie where he can see people's thoughts?
Oh, Snake Boy.
Yeah.
I liked that movie. God, I liked that movie.
This
It's not
town
perfect.
reminded me of the town in that
Yes,
movie.
it does
it's
look
a
like
shithole,
that, yes.
right? It's
Yeah.
we poop
It's if
inside of
people
our.
had to like start a new
Yeah.
town right now,
Yeah.
and you were like, "Here's some wood," and that's all they had to like
Here's
get
some
going.
sheet metal. Here's some wood. Here's some.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that movie? Chaos Walking.
Yeah.
That movie was better than this, right?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
okay.
Well, it's more interesting at least.
It was
Okay.
certainly more interesting. Oh,
Okay,
thank goodness. Oh, thank God. That movie was better than this. If you told me that this was better than
I was
Chaos
like,
Walking,
no.
I would not.
We
be able
still
to
have to
bed.
go to like we have
Well,
to.
shut
He's
up
got to go to
Yeah, I'm
Earth.
sorry.
I don't even
You
want to
talk.
talk about any of this.
The man in black is walking down the streets of New York City. He's going to go check on the kid who went through the unauthorized portal. Okay. On his way, he possesses a kid. He's like, does something, her eyes go black. You don't hear any more about that. So I don't know if he's just making chaos. He's just
He just
spreading
says to her, she's like having fun with her mom, and he says, "Hate."
yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's like, "Guess I
eyes
hate my
black
mom
and
now."
like, I don't know. He heads to the old house with the portal, finds a piece of wood with blood on it, goes back to the monster
That's
city.
the secret. Finds the blood.
He goes to a place where they have like a skin shop, essentially for the rat people. It's like faces hanging in the window and crap. He tells one of them to like figure out whose blood it is. They say it's a human boy with pure shine, and that's when you're like, "What the hell is shine?"
They could taste the shine in the
They
blood.
can taste it. It's so pure. I don't know.
Janelle, she's calling me out here. I don't even want.
Ben's a party pooper. Okay, now we're going back to the kid and Roland, Jake and Roland. They're walking through the woods, and all of a sudden, it's the creepy old amusement park.
Okay.
And then you can hear like growling and noises, and you look over, and there's some kind of people creeping around. Once again, I don't know what they are because the gunslinger's just like shh, and they like let them creep away.
And then that's it.
I don't know. I don't know what those guys are.
Why show them if it's never gonna come?
I
up?
don't know.
Like, we already only have 90 minutes. Why do you spend any of it on something that
Doesn't
has
make
no
sense.
relevance to the plot?
So then Jake is telling Roland about his dream, and he finds out that that was his dad in the dream who died with the gunslinger. Then we cut back to Matthew McConaughey talking to two people. I don't know why I wrote this. Sorry. I was like, what did I say?
Talking to two.
I wrote two
Birds.
docs who lost the kid. It's the two people pretending to be from the clinic.
Two skins.
Oh yeah. The
But I wrote
skins.
docs and so I was like, he talked to
What
two
the hell's a
doctors?
dox? Yeah.
Skins.
And they say like, yeah, we lost the kid, but we can totally find him and all this stuff. And when he walks away, he's like, kill each other. And they just start attacking each other and like,
Again.
murdering each other.
Horribly
stuff.
awful demonstration
Yeah.
of his power. Like
Right. Well, and then everybody around him starts freaking out, and he says, "Calm down,
Calm
everybody. Enjoy the show."
the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
like super cool as a bad
Right.
guy. Like I hate don't go anywhere near this guy. Right.
He's impossible to beat.
Yeah.
This is an insurmountable task.
Yep.
Right.
Love it.
Every time the Man in Black showed up, awesome. Every time we cut back to the desert with
Yeah.
Hooble and Dooble rolling around
Yeah.
through the woods.
Doo-doo and Ding Dong.
Gosh.
So we cut back to the cult. More kids strapped in the chairs, which the kids don't seem to fight back at all.
This is that's a weird.
I don't know
Yeah,
why.
that
They
was
like
never
hop in the chair
explained.
easy and they just
Yeah.
kind of hang out.
Like, okay, I guess it's my time. That's
Um,
kind of how they acted.
so
Like,
they
here
shoot
we
the
go.
tower.
Again,
again.
part of a different book, right? A
Yeah.
movie
Right.
will never get explaining that. Yeah.
And when they shoot the tower, Jake and Roland can hear like the screams and he says it's a beam quake, which you're like, okay. I feel like the
Yeah.
names
little
is
on
like
the nose. Yeah.
I don't know.
Stephen
so he's
King
like-
is overrated. Sorry. Go
He's
ahead.
like, it's just like the earthquakes back at home. And he's
No
like, what
shit,
happens in one
Sherlock.
world echoes in another. Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's exactly the same.
At
but
this point, the
okay.
viewer's like, okay, speed up. We get it. We already.
Beamquakes. So Jake wakes up and they sleep in the woods, which it'd be so fucking cold, but whatever. Jake wakes up, someone's whispering his name. It looks like his dad. And he like goes up to him and his dad's like, I'm not dead here, man. Come on, bud. And as soon as he gets close, it like turns into this monster, which we find out later like slipped through a little bit of the cracks from the tower
Juice?
getting destroyed, I guess, a little, or
Like,
I don't know exactly.
This was not adequately explained because was it? What's his name? Jimmy? Is it Jimmy's shine that allows them to sort of like pinhole through?
Yeah.
Or
I
is the
don't-
tower weakened? Or is
Yeah,
it both?
It does happen
like,
right after a tower attack, but it's not.
That would
It's
make
not
sense.
explained.
Are they in the same place where the tower is?
It sounds
I'm
like
not
it,
sure.
Which I guess they're on at the center
no,
of the universe.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Is like if the tower got hit, but these guys are on a different world. Why do these demons?
Well, they
show
saw the
up?
beam like a small rainbow. Like it's
here?
literally right there.
That's
They could point to the cult and they could point to the tower. From
It
where
could
they're
go
camping.
anywhere, right? It could also be
I don't
one
know.
planet over.
I don't
That's
know.
just too much glossing over.
So anyway, some monsters come out. First, the gunslinger like kills the one. Then another one like comes and starts attacking them. And the gunslinger gets hurt a little bit. They end up shooting it. It kind of looks like a big praying mantis monster thing. But the gunslinger's hurt. But he's like, it's okay. I heal really fast. Which I guess not, because he doesn't. So I don't know why he says
But
that.
also, there's no lingering issue, is there?
Well,
I
yeah.
don't
Then he's like
think.
blurred vision later, and he's like
Oh, does
having
he?
trouble.
Okay. I can't
They have
remember.
to New York City bound it.
Is that why they went there? Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So then Matthew
We gotta
McConaughey.
move.
Yeah, we're going. Matthew McConaughey is making chicken at Jake's parents' house. Okay.
Yes.
They walk in.
They don't have chicken on my world.
Yeah, and so he's like frying up some chicken, which I like that. And right away he's like, "Oh, Ron, you little bitch!" Like he is so mean to the
Yeah.
stepdad.
It
He's like,
gives
"Your
Ron what
douchey thoughts."
Ron was asking for.
Yeah, like brought me right to you. And he's like, "Stop
Yeah.
breathing." Ron dies.
Man,
Thank
I
God.
love. This is sick. I love the stop breathing thing.
Yeah.
It's such a weird way to kill someone.
Such a simple way.
Right.
Like, which is scary.
Right.
But it's but they still like choke, right? So it's still
Yeah.
sort of cruel. And
Oh yeah.
it's such a strange thing.
They're like 100% there, and they're just like,
Done.
Right. You just stop.
I
Yeah.
can't breathe. Like,
It's so like
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
which-
bizarre to me.
That's the one time you're like, okay, Ron can stop breathing.
yeah.
um,
Ron's nobody gives a shit about
He's
Ron.
a douche. So he makes the mom show him the drawings that Jake did, and he kind of sees like into the past, all the drawings on the wall.
how does
so,
that work?
I don't know, he's a sorcerer.
The devil, maybe, or the sorcerer, or whatever.
But
or...
somehow it seems like he's going to use the mom's memories to see into the room, and yet he sees memories of when Jake was in there without the mom.
Right.
Yeah,
I thought
I
this
don't
part
know.
was weird too. I didn't understand what this air quotes power was, but again,
Yeah.
don't worry
I
about it.
mean,
We're moving past it.
So that's when he finds out like Jake knows about him. He knows about the gunslinger, the tower. He sees the whole
Jake
works.
knows everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then Jake and Roland are back at a river. Roland's not healing, which you're like, okay. They find the little town with the seer. It's like very, like you said, Ben, chaos walking, shitty town. They have some sheep, shit like that. Okay. So then she sees him and she's like, "You're shine," and all that stuff for a while. So they're all proud of him. Then we're back on the ship with the rat people and Matthew McConaughey talking about Jake. They're going to send trackers after him. Matthew McConaughey pulls out the bullet that like Roland tried to kill him with. And it's very like Batman
that what
Joker
it was?
relationship where he's kind of like, "Ooh, you
I
little
like
devil."
he
like,
kept it in a little tiny treasure
Is that
chest.
what it was?
yeah, and it was the bullet, and he's like looking at it.
I
like,
honestly did not
yeah,
connect
he's
that
very
at all.
proud of that.
I love
Huh.
how he just kept it in a little treasure chest
He likes
all
it.
this time.
That was in his loft office. That looked really nice.
Huh.
So then we cut back to the town, and like orcs are like attacking the town.
Yeah. But
Right?
D-list orcs. Like
Yeah.
maximum low budget orcs. Scraps, black makeup. I don't know
Trying to
what.
see. And right before that, they are trying to figure out how Roland and Jake can like travel to find the guy in black. And they're like having trouble with how would we travel? They would see us and blah 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 blah. And then then the orcs come to town.
I didn't get that. Like they were like, well, we can't use the portal because they'll be able to track us.
Oh,
And
this
then the
made no
town
sense.
The townspeople are like, well, we have a portal,
Yeah.
but
Why wouldn't that
What?
be step
You
one?
just said we can't use a portal. And then they
Yeah.
ask them
Right.
to fire up a portal.
they don't say we can't use that specific portal over there because that one gets tracked. They
Right,
said we
right.
can't use any portals because it'll get tracked. And then the townspeople are like, well, we have a portal you can use.
It
And
doesn't
But
they're
then
make any
also
okay.
more townspeople say we said we weren't going to use portals unless it
Because
was-
they could track them.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, I know. I watched.
Yeah,
I
we
don't-
just said that.
we
Well,
watched
then-
the
oh,
movie.
you know what?
I, as the audience, felt like the townspeople.
You know
Yeah.
Well,
what?
of course we're not going to boot this thing up.
Oh, you're right. Because then they go, well, there must be a portal in New York City because that's where they were going
Right.
to take me. And so they're like, if we do a portal to New York City,
we already know,
then we
But
we
we
went-
know
we
that he
got
tracks
here.
portals. This
but
is
we
the-
got here through a portal in New York City. What are you talking about? There is a portal in New York City.
And the very
No
first time
shit.
we see the man in black, he says somebody used a portal in New York City. Right? That's
But
how he
apparently they
figures
can't
out-
use that one. They're going to portal themselves into the lair of the enemy in New York City, the New York City
stupid.
lair.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But the orcs come, and during this, they are lighting everything on fire. They are killing everyone.
Oh yeah, that's how you
Why
order.
I don't
baby.
know.
They run sometimes on hands and feet,
They
just
were
like
weird.
orcs.
Don't think about it. Don't.
And Roland is doing okay killing them, but he's also getting his ass kicked. And I'm guessing because like he got hurt because his vision's bad. And then at one point, one of the guys takes Jake and he does his little like, what does
Ja-
he say?
Ja-
Whatever
ja-
he says.
Ja
yeah.
ja ding dong.
And he like closes his eyes kind of, and he like points a gun to the left and shoots, and it hits the guy like a mile away in the head. So that's when you're like, ooh,
Yes.
he has a good shot. But
This is
that's the
50
first
minutes
time.
in. I
Yeah.
wrote it down. It's 51 minutes in. This is the first inclination of what a gunslinger is. or
Yeah, you're finally
does.
like, oh, you're not
He's
just
got
like good at shooting.
Some
like,
sort of
you're-
heightened something happening. Yeah, and then 10 minutes later, we finally get the Man in Black's plan, and then 20 minutes later, the movie ends.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
true.
much.
I wrote
That
down
is true.
timestamps.
So then
That
they
gets us to 90
are-
minutes.
Yeah, they are going to. Ben, you can do picture number 5.
Okay.
It's the gunslinger. So they're going to go to New York City. So they go to New York. There they are in New York,
Because
hanging
he's
out.
got to get healed.
Take him to a
Which,
hospital.
How does that make sense? But whatever.
I don't know.
So he gets healed at the hospital, and then the kid's like, "Here, they told you to take these pills," and he takes all the pills, which I'm like, "That's an overdose." But
Also, they're like,
there were a few laughs in this movie. A
There
couple
were a few.
chuckles.
But
There
all
were
of
a
a sudden
couple
this
that were
turned-
pretty good.
this turned into gunslinger in the big city. It was more of a
Well, it
goofy,
becomes
like, what's
it
a
becomes
school
a super
bus?
it
And-
becomes a superhero movie very
Yeah.
quickly, right?
so that was
mean-
a little weird.
Yeah.
But so they tell Jake though not to use his shine, aka his like mind powers, because they can
Mm-hmm.
track him that way. So they're trying not to do that. But Jake is like, wait.
you can't use the shine.
He's like, I know a guy. He finds the one homeless guy in New York City who at the beginning was like,
Right.
watch out.
Right.
Which I'm like,
No,
how
I
did you know
know.
where he hangs out?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that he figured that guy knows where a portal is. and all that crap. So they're gonna go find that portal.
That
Yeah,
dude has
doesn't-
known about a portal for.
Apparently,
Well,
Since-
I think that
because he was
dude
also a Shine kid.
He was a kid.
From,
He was a shine
one
child.
of the kids from
Yeah.
the compound.
He's
How do you get out?
the kid cannon. I don't know. He escaped somehow.
The kid cannon. Yeah, Jake uses his shine to pull out of this guy's mind the memory of where
Yeah.
the bad guy hideout is.
Do
For some
they
reason.
ever? I don't want to skip ahead, but do they ever explicitly say that the kid cannon is powered by shine?
I don't.
That's my
Oh.
assumption.
Yeah, that
Right?
must be it because
That
Well, you
makes
have to-
way more sense.
the kids they're tracking are the ones
That's
that
the
show
whole point.
Shine
Yeah.
I think.
possibility.
Yeah, that's why when they find Jake, they're like, he's the one.
Yeah, like he can
The
bring
kid-
down the
he-
whole
but
tower.
they
his
never-
kid cannon bullet is going to bring down the tower.
They never give you enough information about the kid cannon to be like, oh, okay.
The
Yeah,
kids,
he's the
yeah.
magic bullet. He's the silver bullet from the kid cannon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So now Matthew
the heck,
McConaughey
guys?
is tracking Jake in the city. Now Jake, this is when Jake goes,
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to my house quick, get some stuff. And he's like, you might want to stay out here, in case my mom's in there. This when Brooklyn comes out and he's like, your mom hasn't been home since Sunday. And
Yeah,
he
this
yells
kid like,
at him.
whoa,
Yeah.
too much acting, right? Like,
And when Jake goes upstairs, he finds Ron's dead body, and where his mom
Yes.
should be.
oh my
It's just-
gosh, this is
is
we last time we saw the mom, she was with the
Man in
devil, the sorcerer,
In
Agent
Jake's
K.
room.
And you're like, it's a cliffhanger. You don't know what the man in black
Yeah.
did to her,
When he opens his
or if
door,
he did anything.
you're like, is she also
Homegirl.
dead, not breathing? Yeah, he sizzled her to ash. Not
Like-
even ash, really.
like
Like,
a hard roast. Like
if you just saw where her shadow
put her on the
burnt.
floor and then burnt her downwards. She
Right,
She
like-
burned a
like a
silhouette
divot.
into the floor. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like if you burn something on asphalt, it burns a little hole in the
Like,
road. It was
Mom,
like that.
like to say that Ron got off easy by being told
Yeah.
not to breathe. The mom got it way worse. Which again,
Oof.
oof, big oof, collective oof. But like, okay, now the kid is sort of not a kid anymore.
Well, now
And-
it's like
They have a little bit of a scene of like,
he gets a
"Ee,
pep
oh
talk.
man, I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm gonna kill the man in black. Right? The kid sort of moves from goofball into
Right.
maybe he could pull it off, even though it's totally unbelievable. But anyway,
And what is the message that the man in black leaves on the wall? Does anybody remember what it said?
it
It
says
says,
hello there with a
Yeah,
smiley
and
face.
with a
and with a
smiley face.
smiley face, like the
Which
Walmart.
it's got to
price
be a
drop
it's got to
smiley
be a
face.
reference. It's got to
Yeah,
be
once
a
again.
I guess.
it's got to be a book reference. It has
But
to
it was
be.
very like, I drew
Right.
this with my finger
And
on
it-
the wall.
and
With your mom's
the
ashes.
camera like you get time on hello there.
Yeah.
And, which I
Right?
thought was kind of funny because he's like, the man in black continuously switches from sophisticated world jumping supervillain to
To,
like kind of like childlike crazy is having fun
Right.
with this, and I can't.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
it's
having a
very
blast.
unsettling.
That's the point.
I like him. He's probably the best part of this movie, to be
Oh,
honest.
without a doubt.
Yeah. It's I
So-
I like Idris Elba, but boy, dude has nothing to
No.
work with here.
Yeah, what is he's just supposed to be like
He
angry?
just stands around and
He doesn't
has his
re-
costume
He uses his power
got his
once
coat.
in the middle of the movie.
twice.
Well, this
That's
is when he gives
that's how
Jake
you
a gun,
forward. Yeah.
and he's
This
like,
was
"Let's
weird.
shoot together." And he gives him the
Yeah, so the son's pissed. He
The
gives him one of the
creed of-
Excalibur grenades or guns. They shoot
Grenade.
together as they chant an
As they
ancient
chant,
oath.
So their chant is, "I do not aim with my hand," and then it's like, "He who does forgot the face of his father," in between everything, which I'm like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
A little heavy-handed. Stephen
I
King.
aim with my eye. I
We
do
get
not
it,
shoot
his
with my
dad's
hand.
dead.
I shoot with my mind. I do not kill with my gun. I kill with my heart, which I'm like, that's kind of weird to say.
Right,
But
but I'm okay with that because
I
this
get
is
it,
like a
but-
dark, where the
Yeah.
hero is like has one foot in the evil pond, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no
I will
you're
kill
not
a bad
good
guy if
guys.
I
It's
have to.
yeah.
Right?
But then after, like, I thought he was like teaching him how to use the gun. Then
Nope,
he takes
takes
the
it
gun
right-
back, and
I
he's
like
like,
that.
your weapon is your shine. The guns are mine. And you're
It
like,
made the whole
think-
scene pointless, but
what?
I also
Then why
liked
did you
that
just
he
like
took
teach
it
me how to
back.
aim
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it would have been for the movie. It would have made 0 sense for him to be like, "You get one of my guns after training montage for 5 minutes,"
yeah.
Right.
which would have made no sense. But I think that was a book nod. I think
I'm assuming.
Jake gets one of the
Okay.
guns in the
I
book.
think he does become a gunslinger, yeah. Like
Yeah.
a high level, yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken, in the books, Roland gets a hand cut off at some point.
Oh,
and
he
so
only
he-
needs one gun.
So he becomes a very bad gunslinger for a bit,
Oh no!
right? He can't draw as fast,
Until he
and
can
so then
reload.
he finds, from what little I know, yeah.
That makes sense. People are
Anyway,
always getting their hands
hold
cut
on.
off.
Joe, also doesn't the shine let you see ghosts in the skew like a barcode? Like at the grocery store? Oh,
hope
Stephen
so.
King universe. All right, never mind.
Oh,
No, I did not realize what that meant. Like,
I'm
He
glad
just
you
sees
asked. I was just like, I didn't know
even
what it
see
meant.
a skew is the that's like a
I
serial
like
number,
the
isn't it?
skew. Like he can do
Or-
math
and-
on prices. quick.
Or like a really budget matrix, like the skew.
The
We're
skew.
entering, and you jump through barcodes.
You're entering the skew,
The
and you're
skew
just jumping between.
Right, you're going through lines of varying thicknesses.
Oh my gosh. So they go to a local gun store and they essentially like rob the guy of all these
I
bullets
hated
and
this.
stuff.
I really hated the scene at
While-
the gun store.
while
It
they're
was
there, though.
unnecessary.
was
Rob
weird.
the guy at the gun store guy at gunpoint for bullets.
It didn't make
It was
sense.
Yeah, but
very
we-
uncomfortable.
They led up to it because he jokes about, oh, you know, where do you have guns in your world? And he says you're gonna like planet Earth, and I was like, yeah, you gotta say.
Yeah, I want to be like, sadly.
But then, yeah. But then, yeah, this anyway.
So while they're there, though, they're leaving, and Matthew McConaughey appears behind them, but it's really just like him using his mind to have like a vision of him.
He's got
there.
a Palantir.
Because he
Yeah.
finally
Somehow.
busted out the Palantir. Like, why hasn't he been using this the whole
Yeah,
time?
why have we not? There's a weird disconnect between he can tell or he can portal, and he does that frequently to be places. But
But
this
he can
time he
also-
decided to Palantir it. I didn't.
So
I don't. And
Whatever.
doesn't he pull his Palantir from a selection of Palantir?
he's got a bunch. He had
I
like a
didn't-
bunch of
maybe I
different
wasn't
He's
ones.
got a
paying
whole.
Yeah, he's got a
he's got
set.
a whole
One
set.
per world, right? I would assume.
Probably.
I don't know.
So when he does that, he like tricks the mind of the gun guy to like start shooting the gunslinger, and like then there's all these other guys after them. Jake runs out, and some guys catch him in a van.
And the guy's like, "I'm not doing this."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not me, and he's like,
But I like.
gun.
I laughed, but I also like that because the Man in Black can like make him do all that stuff, right?
Yeah,
But then did the Man in Black tell him to say, I'm not doing this to make Roland feel guilty? Like there's a psychological aspect to like Roland shouldn't kill this guy, but he very easily could. And it's probably the fastest way to the end game
yeah,
here.
to get out.
I don't know. I like the bad guy in this. The bad guy's the only good part of this.
Well, part of the problem is because of the two good guys. None of them seem very like they have any
Like
usable
what-
skills. They don't
Or-
have any.
What is
They
the
don't-
gunslinger's goal?
I
I
Just
don't
to kill
know.
him.
What's the kid's goal? To be proven
Yeah.
that he's not crazy?
That's
I
true.
don't know.
Right, like
Yeah.
his only problem set up in the beginning is everybody thinks he's crazy, and then he's
Yeah.
proven that he's not crazy
That's
5
Everybody
minutes
who
into the
thinks
movie.
he's crazy literally
He's dead.
dies.
They're dead.
And
Everyone.
so he's off the
Right.
hook.
Except for that Brooklyn neighbor kid.
The
Yo,
Brooklyn neighbor kid.
Your mom
was-
and dad are dead.
He's really loud.
I don't know.
when
I
he
guess you
talks.
should go upstate.
So,
Alright.
okay, Jake gets taken to the place where they beam kids.
The child
So-
kid.
Oh, they
He's-
do
yeah.
kidnap him in a van.
They
That's
yeah,
kidnap
they
right.
get him. They get him somehow.
And
Yeah.
Roland, he's like sending messages to Roland, like where he's going, his visions and stuff. So Roland's like chasing after and trying to get to him and all this crap. They go through portals, all this crap happens. They end up strapping Jake into the seat of death to shoot the Dark Tower.
Mm-hmm.
While this is happening and Roland's on his way, this is when he finally does his gunslinger matrix, refills his guns lickety split in the air, all this shit. And there's 90 guys with machine guns, and he's with his 2 pistols.
All of a sudden, we never saw anything before this that showed us that he could handle this
He's
scenario.
finally doing
All of a sudden, he's
this.
just super powerful.
So he's trying to get to the kid. And the people in the death room are like, something's wrong. The levels are plateauing. He's resisting. Which I'm like, something about that was dumb. Matthew McConaughey gets in his face and he's like, you just got to get the kid mad. And he's yelling stuff at him so that he gets pissed. He shoots the Dark Tower once and but they're still trying to go. So the kid's in the seat of death for an hour, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, at one point, Roland jumps when guys are after him. They almost look like they're on a parking structure. Lots of you could just pop out a window at any moment. I don't even know exactly. But he jumps out a window with some guy. They land in a moving bus, fly out of the bus.
Yeah.
And then
into the front of the bus,
Yeah.
too.
Front
That was
windshield.
crazy.
the front. And then once they get out, they're shooting at each other still. And then the bad guy gets hit by a car. And all this crazy crap happens.
That front glass thing is the sort of thing that works in a better movie where you're like, holy fuck. But in this movie, you're like, all right.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
But once again, you're like, so is Roland tougher?
Yeah. What
Is he
we don't
superhero
know.
strength to kill?
Well,
I don't
because
know.
And
We
he's
never
just fighting a rat person. So, I think those
Who
guys
also-
are mostly expendable. I
don't
know.
Well, and that's the thing. So we never saw Roland brush off, let's say, a normal attack
All
it's
he
nothing,
yeah.
and then
yeah.
get attacked by that demon thing that stabbed him and be like,
Yeah.
oh, the demons from outside
Okay,
the
so he's
barrier
got a
must be really
weakness.
strong.
Yeah.
Because
You know-
look at hurt Roland, who doesn't get hurt normally.
Well,
I'll bet
then-
you.
that probably makes sense.
I'll bet you there's a cut scene very in the beginning, where he's with his dad and Samwise tells him to stop breathing. All you got to do is, before that, give us 10 seconds of Roland and dad
Back, yeah, right.
just
Yeah.
smoking
Back when they
dudes.
really were,
Yeah.
there
Right.
were gunslingers and they were
just
badass.
hell yeah. That's all you need.
Where is that?
It's
No,
not there.
you
I bet it's
never
on the
saw
cutting
him.
room floor. They
There's
had
no-
to get
there-
it under 90 minutes, and they
Why?
Under 90.
they
That's the thing.
trimmed it
They could
everywhere they
do-
could.
They could
Yeah.
easily do a couple extra scenes,
It's-
and it would go to
Yeah.
an hour 45 or 2
Yeah.
hours max.
Instead of
That'd be fine.
setting things up and then not getting a payoff, they don't set anything up
They
and
set
then
nothing
are paying
off,
off
and
things
there's-
that never existed.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yep.
So the kid's keeping the portal open so that Matthew
his-
McConaughey and
with
Roland
his
can fight.
Boy
And
juice,
all
right?
that.
His
Yeah.
Why is the
his
portal
Sprite.
still open? And he just is
His
must be
Sprite.
Jake,
Yeah,
I guess.
It's just
Yeah.
the kid in the seat doing
And he can, it's like the
Vibrating.
portal's right in front of him.
All
Yeah,
right. I
it's-
mean,
the whole
isn't
time.
the Man in Black first of all, 85% of
Wouldn't
Jake's
you-
energy is in the beam against the tower?
Right.
Can't the Man in Black just be like, no, just
Crank it up.
No.
yeah,
Or,
shut
like,
him off, whatever.
turn
Or
it
it's
off
like
for a
you
second,
you're
or- I
not
don't
you,
know.
you maybe
Yeah,
you've got
like-
some powers when you're not being drained, but right now, man, you're in the tower.
He could literally
I don't
say,
know.
"Stop doing that."
Yeah.
Like
couldn't
that's
he?
his power, right?
You know,
I don't-
right? He never tried.
I guess he doesn't want to. It's like his weapon, so he doesn't want to hurt him.
Like his power is, "Hey, knock it off." Like just
Stop it.
Don't.
hey,
So
hey, stop.
this is when we get the
Stop that.
final big battle of Roland and the guy in black.
This is when I
So-
fell asleep.
Roland is
Yeah.
like Matthew McConaughey is matrixing, bringing glass
This is
up
all
and shards
news
of
to me.
glass going at him, and there's bullets everywhere, and he's sending boards and it's very crazy, kooky. Who knows what the rules are? Roland is shooting glass out of the air with his bullets. At one point, though, a shard goes directly through his hand.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
That was disgusting. That's the one time I went, oh, God.
This movie has some moments in it where you're like, ah.
yeah.
Like,
And then Matthew McConaughey's like catching bullets out of the air left and right and all this crap. So Roland gets knocked down. He's like at the point where he's like dead. Once again, looks like a parking structure's on him. I don't know where they are. I'm not quite sure what's happening. And when he's knocked down, the kid in his head is like telling him the gunslinger creed, and he's like, "You shoot with your heart," and all
That's
that
right.
crap.
I'm a gunslinger, except nobody knows what that is, and I swore it off for unknown reasons.
And Matthew McConaughey is coming at him with the fire in his hands. He's ready to be like, "Ya done."
Yeah, he burned. We skipped over him burning that one girl, his assistant.
Oh yeah, he did burn
So him having
pissed.
fire in his hand is the he's gonna finish you off type thing. Just whatever.
So he's coming to get Roland, and Roland hears his thing in his head. He gets up last minute. He tries shooting him. He catches it. He shoots him, and when he's about to catch that one, he shoots another, which bounces off the wall or some shit. Hits the first one before he can catch it, and it goes right in his heart. Then, so Matthew McConaughey got shot, and then once he gets shot once,
how physics works.
Keeps going.
The other two sides of the triangle are actually faster and shorter than the hypotenuse of the
didn't make
triangle.
any sense. In the end,
it doesn't matter.
Man in Black dies. He's got a hole in his head.
He shoots his own bullet. That's what it is. He fires straight.
Yeah.
Then bounces one into the other bullet.
But then after he gets shot once, he can he keeps shooting.
Then he destroys
done.
Him. That's true.
So, and then he shoots the machine tower, so it blows up. Him and Jake get out of there, and the tower.
As they're flying back through the portal.
They blow up that whole village from the Giver.
Yeah, which
right? They just
also all those
kids
are dead anyway.
Done.
Yeah,
I was kind of disappointed that the Man in Black died, and I
was
thinking on it now. I think it's because he was the only person I thought was cool in this movie.
He's the only interesting character in this movie.
When they head back to Earth, because of all that, because of Jake, it was a massive quake all around town. So it's crazy.
A skyquake? What's it called? Beamquake.
Beamquake.
So they get there. They get a hot dog.
Sounds like a breakfast dessert. Can I get 3 beamquakes with ice cream? Is that you think a beamquake is like a deluxe pancake or a?
I don't know what it would be.
How do you work in the beam?
It reminds me of the name of some sort of Little Debbie thing.
Right. That's what it is. It's like a Swiss cake roll with big star sprinkles.
It's made out of star crunches.
Right.
God, star crunches are so good.
It's also 1 per box, so it's 4 inches wide. And 12
you cut little
long.
slices off of it.
Yeah, you get one.
It's a star crunch rolled
when you
up
open
with the
box,
white frosting
you
and the
slide the entire beamquake out.
Beamquake.
I kind of want a beamquake now.
I could go for a slice of beamquake.
They get there and they have a hot dog, and Roland's like, I gotta go, right? Which is the kid doesn't have any family or anything, and you just got
and also, where do you need to go? I'm sorry.
Right.
You?
Where do you need to go?
Your whole goal in life was to kill the guy in black. He's dead.
I don't see how you.
Can we get a Ruski or something? We're done.
Do you have more to do than Jake did? I don't. You both seem to be pretty aimless right now. Why don't you just enjoy this dog and relax?
I don't know. And then he's like, "Why don't you come with me?"
He does ask what breed the hot dog is, which is a quality dad joke.
It makes me mad because Jake never explains things. He's like, "What's up with it's like a commercial on TV." He doesn't understand, and Jake's like, "It's a commercial." And they want to be
they're going
he doesn't know what. I mean, I get it, but
it's they're letting the audience do it, but it's the Terminator dynamic cranked up to 2x speed. We're just gonna let the audience fill this one in.
But anyway, he's like, "Jake, you want to come with me?" And he's like, "Sure." And they go around the corner, go in a door, and you can hear them blast through another portal. Which also, I'm like, Was that a
What?
portal you knew about? Like, you
Yeah,
just
like the portals were like hard to find and dangerous
they
before.
like immediately just go
Right.
in.
Never been used in like
It's
1,000
like a
years.
public restroom. You just
And that was it, the end. They beamed away, which that's why I thought they were hoping for a sequel.
for
Like,
sure.
it was
going to
be the adventures of Jake and
And
Roland.
you would skip ahead 5 years. Idris Elba could still play
Yeah.
it. You'd cast a 20-year-old
new kid,
hot
yeah.
boy. You'd get Tom
Right.
Holland.
Hot Jake.
Tom Holland. It would sign up for another
Mhm.
franchise, which I'd watch Tom Holland and Idris Elba fight Matthew
Gunsling?
McConaughey forever in eternity. I'd watch that.
Well, see,
Well,
then it's that thing of like, who's the Crimson Keeper, whatever.
but
the
I
heck
don't
that
want to
thing
see the
was.
Crimson King. I want to see more. What's his name?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he died.
Walter. I like how his name was Walter. Why
Wally?
Walter?
I don't know.
But that was
Here's
it.
the thing. So, like, with this movie, I felt like while watching it, I was having a fine.
fine.
I was having a
It
fine
was-
time. I was having a better time with
have
a
a
lot of
pulse.
D-list movies.
right?
Right?
This
yeah,
movie has a pulse. It
I was having-
goes.
But then when it got to the end, and as we're having this discussion tonight, it is probably the movie of all the D-list movies we've watched, probably the one I have the least to say about.
Yes.
Yeah, there isn't
I,
much to
I
say
agree.
like
about.
The Man in Black, but I don't really have anything like funny or insightful or anything to say
No,
about
because it was
this.
very. It
Well,
was just a
how many times-
straightforward, simple.
How many times have we actually tried to talk about something else during this podcast? Like
Right.
multiple times in 90 minutes, we found other subjects because there's not a lot to say about this movie. There's just
No, other than The Man in Black, the rest of it is just like
It's
forgettable.
Like, well, that's what happens.
well, like
And
if you
that's-
told here, okay, I'm going to pitch two to you real quick. You get
Okay.
a Dark Tower sequel
Okay.
with Tom Holland and Idris Elba
Mhm.
going up against somebody else. What was that? Or I'm gonna pitch you the pre-tower, a prequel
Ooh.
where we get Matthew McConaughey and Idris
Prequel.
Elba fighting, leading directly into some sort of scene that indicates that this movie is the same cycle again.
yeah.
Ooh.
Hell yeah. Man,
I
if
do
you could have
wish at the
seen
very end, if Matthew McConaughey like woke up or
Woke up.
something.
or if the beginning of this ended with Matthew McConaughey killing Idris Elba and then the
Yeah.
movie just starts, right?
Mhm.
Give me the
Do
the
something.
feedback loop
where we
thing.
got the loop.
Right.
Where he's
Yeah.
he's like another turn around the wheel,
Yeah.
or whatever the heck.
whatever
he
he's it was some
I-
stupid
was
version
something,
of that.
yeah.
He was like,
I want to watch
why
the
don't we
origin.
walk around the table again? It's like,
I want to
who
watch
the
the
fuck
origin
says
story
that?
of the Man in Black. Like, how does
Yeah.
he gain his powers? Did he go on
Yeah.
some sort of epic quest to sort of gradually acquire these powers over
And-
time? Is this something he's innately born with? Was he taught this? Is he like a warlock? Is he is his patron the Red King, and the Red King grants him these
And
sorcery
where
powers?
does that fit on the power scale?
wasn't-
right?
Yeah.
Like what are these demons?
Wasn't
compared
Roland
to the Man
saying
in
he was
Black?
like super old too or something?
Oh
at
yeah,
one
he
point?
said Roland said he was in like a war with the Man in Black. The gunslingers
Like-
were in a war like 20,000 years
Yeah.
ago or something.
So you're like, are you saying that was like for one life, or is that still
Right.
the same life?
what
Like what?
time scale are you working on?
Well,
yeah,
especially because
I get that. No, you're
when they
totally
get
right.
to the village, only the old man at the village
like
is
a
like,
gunslinger.
I haven't seen a gunslinger since I was a kid, which implied
So-
that the time of the gunslingers
Yeah.
was a normal adult life ago, not
Yeah.
not 1,000 years ago.
But is
Yeah.
is
so I
Roland
don't.
20,000 years old, or is he 50 years
Or
old?
is he just no more? Yeah, past
thousands
lives
of times
or whatever.
over, right? I don't.
Nobody knows.
Like, let's make a good movie. How about this for an idea? What if the movie was good? I don't,
Right?
Well, or this could totally be like an HBO show now that
you
you
could
would like.
this would make a great
that would be
show.
perfect for that.
This would make a
but-
great show, actually.
It would work great, but
I
now
just
we're
a lot
You
of
could even
times.
screwed.
cast the same damn people.
That's true.
Right?
This
You
is
could
right
start
before.
over, yeah.
This
Like-
is from right before the time of shows. This was 2017.
Yes. Now shows are like,
This would be a show
Now shows
100%
are
nowadays.
easier
Yeah.
than movies
Yeah.
for money.
yeah.
But I'm not like latching on to if we just fix this one thing or if we change this scene.
No, but
It's like there's like nothing to grab onto here. There's just like it
The
like
movie
never
is-
went it just
well, maybe it's you have
Maybe
to
it-
read all the books for
Yeah,
this to
it's-
even slightly make sense.
It's a product of like, I'm guessing it's a product of, well, we want to make this into 11 movies.
Yeah.
And we want to pay homage to the 11 books that came before it, but also not be married to those, right? So you get this weird little slice of,
Yeah.
well, we're not really going to stay true to the books, but it's got to be cool enough and digestible enough for,
Why an hour and a half though?
well, the same reason it's PG-13. It's so that 13-year-olds or, that age group
13
can watch
kids.
it and be married to it for 10 years, 20
That is
years.
true.
I'm not kidding.
That is
right?
true. So
It
they can
was-
keep going with it. Yeah.
You got to build that franchise. If you don't build a franchise right now, you're in dead water.
But somebody had to have watched this movie at some point and been like, well, this isn't going to build a
I
franchise.
dare you to find proof that anyone saw this movie before it went to theaters. I bet you can't. I don't know. I have no.
The 13 fans.
The 13 fans.
That's who
Well,
saw it.
we're three of them. So
Well,
I don't
everybody
know.
forgot about this movie. I mean, I forgot
Yeah.
it existed.
Like, you could reboot.
Yeah.
If you told me there was a Dark Tower show,
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I'd be like, okay. And
with
I'll check
Idris
it out.
Elba again as the gunslinger.
and
Matthew McConaughey.
him as Man in Black, I'd watch that show because I
Yeah, I
know
would.
they'd have the time
Going to be better than this.
to let both of those guys like absolutely act their little hearts out. We'd get some good writing. It'd be
Their Little
cool.
hearts out.
Yeah.
He goes through the portal, comes out as McCavity, the cat.
I thought that was
The
going to happen.
naked cat.
One of
Yeah.
the times he goes to New York, he pops out as a cat. Whoops, that portal messed up.
Whoa, crazy world.
McCavity.
When
When
he
I-
was like, why was he naked in that? I
That
did
was
not
so
like
weird.
that.
Did they run out? Is that like a budget thing where
They
the
just
more
couldn't
money
have
you
his
have,
suit.
the less you can make it like a human body?
Oh my god!
And they got to him too late.
So
And so it's basically just Idris Elba naked with his
That's so
pelvic like
weird.
smoothed out, right? They just like blended
That
it
is
out.
so flippin' weird.
Like with a brush
Right,
in
right.
Photoshop.
Somebody's
Yeah.
They're on
Feather
their
it out.
iPad.
Oh
Feather
my
it out.
gosh. That's what it was
Pen on the
like.
pad.
That's what it looked
Ugh.
like. Yeah.
All right. You know what? This is
was
going
fun.
exactly where I thought it was going to go. It is devolving into something other than this movie. And I think
Yeah.
we're all in agreement that nobody needs to watch this. I wouldn't watch this a second time. And as much as I say that I agree with Ken, I would watch
would watch a
Dark
show.
Tower 2. And
Yeah.
I would watch a show
Yeah.
especially if Matthew McConaughey is going to play the Man in Black again.
Heck yeah.
Very noteworthy.
Yep.
If you listen to this on audio and want to see a video version, you can go check out the Date Night Dice YouTube channel. If you want to tune in live, we record the D-list movie reviews on the first Thursday of every month. You can check us out live on Twitch. And I think that's it. Otherwise, check out the Date Night Thrice show, our once a month
Like
top
you're
3
looking
countdown
at me.
show. Help me out here, Em.
I don't want to because you're just
Throw
like,
me a bone.
Falling apart. All right. Thanks, guys.
have a
Tune in
good
next
night.
Thank
time.
you.
Do you want me to end?
No, I mean we can still
I just put the end time for
just
the
write your
recording.
end time for the audio there.
Exclusive
stunk,
behind the
man.
scenes.
Man, now you've got me like super turned up for a show. Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, HBO Dark Tower.
Inhale poison.
I did inhale poison. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I thought
What do you think think is
It
out here with
scared
like
me.
children? Like I just leave
It
bleach on a
It
towel or
scared
something.
me so much.
I figured it was like a Clorox wet wipe that you pull from the drum,
Oh,
right? And
yeah.
then you wipe the table,
You
and
wipe
then
it.
for some
No,
reason
it was
some
like-
butthole doesn't throw it out. It stays there. Then you grab it.
Some
Like
sort of like
this, like
chemical for making slime.
Yeah.
I am trying to find a picture of Idris Elba and cats.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Oh,
say
man.
the poison. I was like, give it up.
Why is he like this?
Put it up here so we can
It's
all
just
see.
him naked. Whatever. Who does?
It's just him naked. It's
I
not
want
even
to see
in a
Idris
cat
Elba
costume.
naked. Yeah.
It's just.
Bring it on.
Where is it?
What if you Google? What if you like, secret searched or what? Oh,
I love
What
this.
is-
Like, I hope they paid him enough.
Hold on, wait.
Holy
do that
cow.
top. Do
What
that
is that?
top middle photo.
Yes.
No, that one. Oh my god.
that doesn't.
No,
is
but
it the
that's still
ears?
messed up.
What if you
It's
searched
that they have people noses.
Idris Elba naked?
And
No, I'm
the
not
cat-
suggesting that you do it, but
cat
but if the
shows up.
results were this, right?
Wait, what movie is he in that far right?
This?
Yeah, what movie is that?
That's Thor. It's him as
Oh, okay.
Heimdall.
I didn't know if we'd get another deal.
There we go. There we go.
Oh my god!
Doesn't he like he comes
You
down
can
like on a
see-
string at one point?
You,
I think.
you could see like chest muscles. I
Yeah,
don't.
and like
For a cat, I should.
we're not body shaming.
Why is he
the dude.
like this?
He's just naked. He's just naked. It's
Oh,
like if
hold
they
on.
took like
It's that I don't want to see like every little like.
yeah, you don't have to get that detailed with
Like
it.
look at his stomach, the side. You can see where he's like.
You can see
sitting.
everything.
Is there
I've
any
seen
more
it all.
pictures here?
Oh,
Filming.
Oh, what is this?
What?
we lost our minds when the train
Why-
had exploded.
What?
What viewing is this?
Who
No,
is
this is like one of
lost
those
our
things where they
mind.
like put an applause track over something else, right? Like they took
Look
that
at what
from
they said for the second
they
one.
took that from when like Luke Skywalker threw his lightsaber away, right? And said, "I will not."
We
Whatever.
got on our feet.
Right. That's
Like it was the last day of
that
camp.
audio is from when Captain America lifted Mjolnir and hit Thanos, right? What the hell is this?
happening?
I hate
Oh my god! Can you
I'm
Can
so
you
sorry.
imagine-
this. Was that
being
like
like-
somebody's birthay party? Is that like a
I don't know.
can you imagine
Like
being
a
in a
s-
theater and that's what happens around you for that?
yeah?
movie?
They all breathed poison. There you go.
I really did breathe poison.
What was that?
It was
Who-
shocking.
Oh my gosh, that was the weirdest thing
I have
I've
a
ever
headache
seen.
now. My head hurts. Ah.
He's like naked. Okay.
All right, we gotta shut
Woo!
this down.
Okay, everyone.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
for
tuning
joining,
in.
guys.
Go search
see you
Idris
later.
Elba naked and see if it's cat's photos.
All right, good